All right, the Advisory Council on Hearing Aids meeting is convening at 9:02 a.m. on March 20th, 2026. This meeting is being held in person and through Zoom video conference and is being recorded. The recording will be posted to the internet for public viewing. I will now call roll. Chelsea Montgomery, present. Doug Welsh,
Present.
Lorraine Henriquez, Vladimir Gutierrez, Peggy Kelly, Todd Williams,
Present.
Jennifer Alexander,
Present.
and just checking back, is Lorraine Henriquez here?
I'm looking at the list, Chair, and she is not yet.
She's not, no.
Does that mean we need to wait to have quorum?
No, four is quorum.
Four is good. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the recording. Council members are asked to not use the chat feature during meetings. The Health Licensing Office asks that individuals attending through Zoom keep their phones muted and cameras off during the entire meeting or until they are given an opportunity to comment during the public and interested parties' feedback period if indicated on the agenda. Public comment is limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this council has statutory authority to regulate. Public members wishing to speak, please sign in on the roster sheet available in the room or email Josh Page at josh.page@oha.oregon.gov and provide your first and last name. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting business.
Excellent. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Bob Bothwell. I'm the director here at the Health Licensing Office. Welcome and happy Friday to you. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. So if somebody other than the chair can make a motion to approve the agenda and another board member make a second, and then the chair can do roll call and it'll be approved.
This is Todd Williams. Move to approve the agenda.
This is Jennifer Alexander. I move to second it.
Thank you.
Perfect. And this is Chelsea. Just to clarify, should I only call those in attendance or does everyone need to be called?
Just call those that are in attendance, Chair. Thank you.
All right. Chelsea Montgomery, aye. Doug Welsh,
Aye.
Todd Williams,
Aye.
Jennifer Alexander,
Aye.
Excellent. Chair, you did call yourself, right?
yes, I did.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the director's report, and we are starting on slide 7 for that, and Chrissy will provide this to you.
Hello, this is Chrissy. Happy Friday and good morning. We are in a new year for you all. This is your first meeting of the year, so I want to bring to your attention, we are going to have to focus on some training again. At the top of the council membership, there are some trainings there. If you need help getting into your workday to get those trainings completed, please let me know and I will be happy to help you with those. So we'll go through the membership list here. We have Doug in the second term, expires September of this year. Doug, just a quick question. If we're unable to fill your seat by the time your term expires, are you willing to serve until replaced?
I am.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
We also have Lorraine in the second term. That expires of January of 2028, cannot reappoint. Todd in the first term expires July of 2027, can reappoint. We have Vladimir in the first term, expires April 2027 and can reappoint. Chelsea in her first term expires June of this year, can reappoint. And also with that, Chelsea, I will be reaching out to you shortly within the next couple of weeks just to get you reappointed. So be on the lookout for an email from me on that. And then we have Peggy with her first term expires July of 2027 and can reappoint. And then we have Jennifer and her first term expires March of 2027 and can reappoint. Does anyone have any questions? Great. Happy Friday.
Thank you, Chrissy. Okay, Chair, if you're ready for me to move on, we will jump into the statistics portion of the report. We have issued 5 new hearing licenses, permanent licenses in Q3 of 2026. We have issued 10 temporaries also in Q3. We have 5 trainee registrations in Q3 and licenses renewed. In Q3, we've had a total of 32, and the vast majority of those are on paper, and it appears that they have been for the last couple of years, which is nice. The hearing aid specialist temporaries renewed. We've had 2 renewed, and licenses by age and gender. We have some younger folks moving into the field, which is nice to see. And we have some couple of folks, 5 of them, between 74 and 81. Licensing trends. I am on slide 17. We're averaging about 222 permanent licenses. Temporary average about 36. Trainee registrations 34.3. All in Q3 of 2026. Any questions on those statistics so far? Okay. The next slide is slide 20, and these are the testing results. I don't know if anybody has any questions on this. So for 2026, for written exam 1, we've had 5 pass, 3 fail. The Oregon laws and rules, we've had 8 pass, 3 fail. And then the practicals, 1A, 1B, and 1C. 1A, we've had 5 pass, 2 fail. We've had in 1B, 6 pass, no fails. And 1C, we've had 9 pass, 2 fails. And going down the list, practical exam 1C, I already did that one, sorry. And then the HAS practicals 2, we've had 7 pass, no fails. We've had for practical 3, 7 pass, 7 fails, and practical 4, we've had 4 pass, 6 fails. UTS practical, we've had 7 pass, 7 fail, and written exams, we've had 5 pass, 3 fail. Moving on to your financials on slide 21, you had a beginning cash balance of $310,766, revenues of $25,780, expenditures of $29,583, with the net operations and a deficit of $3,803. Those will likely fluctuate as we move through the year, and an ending cash balance of $306,963. Your financials are holding steady, but they are in the low territory, meaning we'll explain a little further down the road here in the meeting. But we would need one event like a hearing to come up, and that would pretty much wipe out the board's financials. So we have a solution, and that is coming up after the regulatory report. Any questions on the fiscal report? Chuck, good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Champa Shuck. I'm the regulatory manager here at Hill Licensing Office, and I'm here to talk about the regulatory report. So, as you can see on the regulatory report starts on page 23. The first slide shows open cases. So you can see there's 3 biennium on here. There's 2023 biennium, 2025 biennium, and the 2027 biennium. We're currently in the 2027 biennium, about 8 months into it, maybe 9 now. So we're about a third of the way through. And you can see, we still got a couple of cases holding on from that old biennium, but we're making progress into getting all those closed out. As you can see, we've got 5 open. The more you go across, the more you're going to see open. But I think a bigger picture is showing on the next couple of slides. As you can see, the next slide is closed cases. So you can see that first biennium, that 2023 biennium, we had 19 cases closed, 2 are open. So we had about 21 cases for that biennium. And then the cases for the 2025 biennium, we had about 18 cases, 8 are closed, about 10 are still open. And then this current biennium, we're into about 7 cases that have come in, and 5 of those are still open, which is to be expected. If you go down to the next slide, you can see a little picture of kind of the trends of how things are moving though. You can see the complaints by type. This tells us a couple things because this finally gives us the grand totals. So of those 3 bienniums, we had 46 cases come in. You can see that 5 of those were licensing concerns, 39 were service related, and then 2 were open because of CE audits. So you can also kind of look at that 2027 biennium. 2 of those were CE audits, and I was seeing this kind of go across here, and in the bigger picture of Health Licensing Office in general, we had one of our larger years last year for cases coming in. And this year, the 2026, annual year, just the calendar year, we're probably on track to be there as well. Normally we get about 300 cases unless something kind of odd in the world is going on. Like the year we had COVID, we had a couple of years around COVID, we had a lot of complaints coming in, and some of those related directly to COVID complaints and the emergency orders and things like that. So that was a big spike that we know why it was happening. Now last year in 2025, I noticed that we had a lot of complaints come in just in general. This is overall HLO. And we did. We had a year that was, instead of about 300, which we average, and I've been around a long time, and that's kind of the average-ish over the years. Last year we had 456 or something like that come in, and this year we're probably on track to be there as well. So we've had kind of an increase for some reason in the general world of HLO of complaints coming in. Some of that can be due to we've kind of doubled down on the CE audits, and we're starting to do those a lot more in the last year. And you can see you had 2 that we dealt with and I was actually in 2025 that we dealt with those. So, but what I'm seeing as a bigger trend is that, but when I look at your group, I've actually thought about this is actually going down, and I did a little historical looking into it. And, we used to get about 20 complaints a year from this group. And last year in 2025, we got 5. And we haven't had any come in this year in 2026 that I've seen yet. And 2024, we had like 1 complaint come in for 2024. So we've somewhere along the line, we really got a drop down. I don't know what that means or why we're seeing that, but it definitely has been. It's a good thing to not get as many complaints. You haven't dropped licensees or anything like that, but we're just getting less complaints. So I'm not sure what that trend is from. You're kind of bucking the system when it comes to the general trends for HLO, but I'm not going to complain about that. So that's kind of a little bit of what's going on in regulatory. You can see also, I didn't mention this complainants by type. You can see that of the complaints that came in, the 46 over these 3 biennium, 10 came in from clients and 36 were other, which is kind of a broad group. Either we don't know, or it was, usually if it's anonymous, it would show up as anonymous. So it's probably just some other source. Could be a lot of times you get a representative of the client actually sending in the complaint, like a daughter or a family member or something like that. So, but so yeah, so that's regulatory. Does anybody have any questions about regulatory in general? These trends that are kind of we're seeing, how the regulatory process works, anything like that. Generally, I can't talk about specific cases, but I can talk about the process or policies or things like that.
I do have a question. This is Doug Welsh.
All right.
So do you have the manpower to, if someone was to complain, how fast do you get on that?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a complex web because, like I said, we have 20 boards and programs councils, and they all are having complaints come in. We've got, finite number of investigators and inspectors, and it kind of depends. We in a perfect world, we try to get them all, kind of equalized out. But sometimes we do try to prioritize. We may have to put more time and effort into a situation that had a larger harm, maybe, like, versus something that was lesser. And sometimes you just have to triage those things. But they're all given to investigators. This board typically, we don't completely specialize with our investigators, but we do kind of have investigators that specialize in different boards as well. So it also depends on that person's workload. And I think that those cases, like those older cases on this report, were cases that maybe had gotten, I think they got passed from like an investigator to another investigator because of some people leaving and things like that. But yeah, we never have enough manpower, if that's your question. But
that's what I was wondering.
we never have enough, but we do our best with what we have. Although I can tell you that I think that having that kind of significant, when we have a delicate balance, and can the six investigators handle a normal year pretty well? Yeah, we can get things moving. But when we have a bump, sometimes that can actually put us behind. We've had bumps in, a specific board that has put us back years because we had a really large bad year or something like that. I don't foresee that being an issue with like last year, but we are trying to find ways to become more efficient, try to get things done in a quicker, more efficient way. You just have to when you're faced with a higher workload. So you either hire more people or you get more efficient, or you're drowned. So we don't want to drown, and hiring more people isn't always quick and easy in state government. So we just have to find ways to move things through, still do our due diligence, still do the best job we can. But yeah.
Well, I was, seeing the numbers there for our complaints is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I was just surprised. So I know there's a lot going on in that, I see a lot. So I'm just kind of wondering if people are scared to complain, or. Like I said, I've been here since 2008, and I've been working with cases for this board, specific, I had been, when I was an investigator, I started being an investigator around 2010. And I remember this group having, being pretty busy with complaints, and we'd be handling, 18, 20 a year, which, that's not a huge amount of number. That's not bad for, a group that's a good size, but that's still a handful, and it takes up a significant amount of time. And there were a lot of problems, with paperwork and testing that wasn't being done right, and rescind and cancellation issues, all the kind of the gamut that we dealt with. But I can say, really, in the last couple of years, especially since I've been sitting in this chair, I feel like I'm like, where are all the has complaints? Because we haven't been getting as many, and I don't have a good explanation for it. I don't know if it coincides with like the over-the-counter stuff. If there's just if maybe that's changed the landscape in some way. I just don't know.
I don't really have a good answer. It's something that I have noticed and I started to quantify over the last couple. I mean, I noticed it over the last year or so, and I kind of started actually looking at the numbers and thinking about it more recently. And because, like I said, we had such small years, But I mean, we'll have to see if it's just a dip or if it's a trend. I look at the line and it looks to be kind of a bit of a trend, a slow trend. But last couple of years, it's kind of went, had a drop. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great thing if people are being taken care of and they're satisfied, but it's not a good thing if they're just not aware. Although you have some pretty stringent standards around your paperwork and putting on there explicitly how to file a complaint. You're one of the few groups that has an actual statement on, in rule that says you have to give every client the means and the information on how to file a complaint. So I don't think it's for a lack of education to the client. You're one of the groups that has a higher level of education to the client on how to file a complaint, directly from the licensee. So I don't know. We're just going to have to kind of keep an eye on it and see where we're going with it, and why it's happening. But like I said, your licensee base hasn't really dipped. I don't think. I haven't looked back for, 10 years or anything, but we can see on the report this year that in the time frame that we're reporting, it's been pretty stable. It has a little bit of a dip, but it looks like a bigger dip than it really is, considering the y-axis. So
Okay. I appreciate it.
mhm.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the question, Doug. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions about regulatory or investigations or anything like that? All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Excellent. Thank you. Chair, if you are ready, we're going to move into the policy section. And for those following along, it's slide 27. Ann?
Thanks, Bob. For the record, this is Ann Thompson, your policy analyst. As Bob pointed out in the earlier slides, your financials, while they're sort of steady, they're also slipping. And we don't want to let your council dip too far financially because you have to be able to support yourselves and, as Bob mentioned, if there was a case or something. So we looked at your rules, and your rules have quite a few discounts in them for various things, including free retakes and things. And we thought perhaps the best way to make a slight course correction on your financials was to do a proposed rule eliminating the online renewal discount that your board has had since I think 2018. And that would allow your revenues to have a small uptick without a big correction. You'll still maintain your other discounts. Retakes of Oregon laws and rules are free. Oregon laws and rules will still maintain the $50 discount, and the practical exam retakes are still down 175. So you're maintaining some of your grace offerings, but we are proposing to remove the $75 discount. Does anybody have any questions on that or anything you want to add, Bob?
No, not really, but just to, maybe put a finishing touch on, we really were looking for a way to not increase the license fees themselves. So, that's why we looked at the discount and thought that was the better option for the board or for the council.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, dovetailing on what Bob is saying, I went as far back in history as I could without digging in a box. And I tracked your license fees as holding steady all the way back to 2008. And I think it's remarkable the amount of service that we offer without having to increase fees. And one of the things that we do, if you're taking in too much money, we'll go ahead and offer a discount. But if things start to slip, that goes away. So that's what we were proposing. Is there any discussion? Because what we'll need to do is we will need to vote this proposed. This would go in the Oregon Bulletin on April 1st, have its public comment period, and then we would need the board to add a meeting in May. And it would be a special meeting, one of those 15-minute specials, to adopt the rule permanently so that we can get that discount out and start collecting a little bit more money for this board. No, council, forgive me. So I'm not seeing anybody with a question. Are you, Bob?
No.
Okay.
Any questions? Chair or anybody on the council?
No.
Nope, sounds good to me. This is Chelsea Montgomery.
Thank you, Chelsea. Yeah, we try to make micro adjustments so that we don't have to make macro adjustments, and everything is getting more expensive. And I mean, I've talked to Bob about it. I said, well, what are you paying for now that was the same price in 2008, right? So these little tiny adjustments help us keep you guys solvent without becoming the bank of hearing aid council. So if this is acceptable, I would need somebody other than Chelsea. I would need a motion to adopt the proposed rule, a second, and a roll call vote. Chelsea.
This is Jennifer Alexander. I move to adopt it.
Thank you, Jennifer.
This is Doug Welsh. I move to adopt it. I second it.
Fantastic. Chelsea, can I roll call vote, and don't forget to include yourself.
All right, Chelsea Montgomery, aye. Doug Welsh,
Aye.
Todd Williams,
Aye.
Jennifer Alexander,
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Anne.
Mhm.
Okay. Chair, we are in public interested parties feedback. Anne, I have a question for you if you're still
Yes.
there.
Mhm.
If we have nobody in the public, which I don't think we do this morning, do we have to read this?
We do not. If we are
Okay.
not seeing anybody, I mean, we can as a point of order, but with the online opportunities that we have to see who is actually in the room with us, if you're not seeing anybody, we can move right on.
Well, then, Chair, if you don't mind, let's just point out that it's time for, if this is right, Ann, we have public interest parties feedback on the agenda, but we have no public, and I'm not aware of any emails that we needed to read in public session or in this portion of the board meeting. We can just skip it.
Mhm. We'll save Chelsea's voice a little bit. We could move on to other council business if that's acceptable.
works for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other council business then? Does anybody have any questions, concerns?
Well, we do have to add a meeting,
Yes, for sure.
but
Good point.
no, that's totally okay. If everybody could, while we're thinking about what we might want on the next agenda, if we could all get our calendars out, and Josh, if you would get the office calendar out as well and guide us through our selection. I'll
Hey,
also
Bob.
everybody go
Doug?
ahead.
We do have some extra business we need to talk about.
Oh, of course. We're
So
just getting your calendars out. It's not a
okay,
problem.
no problem. All
And
right,
I
thank
just
you.
wanted to also mention, while we're in other board business, we did conclude legislative session, and there was nothing that I saw that impacted your industry, professionally, or any other tangential board like audiology or anything. So there's that. And while we're looking at our calendars, what have you got, Doug?
Well, what I have is Trish, are you online? She must be.
Yes, I'm
We're-
here. Sorry, had to
Okay.
find the mute button.
So what we're looking at is we've been doing some research. I've been looking at it for several years on how to do online proctoring or move it to a written format, which Trish can probably explain a little bit more with your new DMV system, kind of a copy. It has AI in it, but I've called many states and I've talked to a lot of professionals, doctors, other states, and a lot of people are moving into a live proctor portion via webcam from their own office. So I honestly think we should do that for one reason, money, but also convenience. There's a lot of people that don't show up or they don't apply because they don't have transportation or it's a burden. So there's a lot of issues, but I get a lot of positive feedback out of it. So I really think we should think about it. So there is some saving of money, but Trish can talk about that if you have a second, Trish.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. This is Trisha. I'm a qualifications specialist here. So when we do our practicals, we do them here in the office. Each day that we do them, which there's usually about 2 days each time, we have 2 proctors or 3 proctors and 2 test subjects. And currently that just like money out of the account, it's almost $9,000 just for that. That doesn't include any administrative hours, time scheduling and, staff and supplies and all of that. So there is a chunk there that could be saved just by moving to doing the practicals online.
This is Chelsea Montgomery. Do we have an idea of how much it cost to do the proctoring online?
Well, the proctoring online we could do via Zoom or Teams or something like that. The proctor would be online, and that's free. And they wouldn't have to have a test subject because they would have their own, like their own model type person.
So Chelsea, again, let's just to clarify. So we would be using like a computer-based proctor system. We wouldn't have to
Correct.
buy that
Yeah.
or hire anybody to manage it.
No, because just like we have a Zoom meeting, the proctor can be online as well as the candidate running everything online. But it wouldn't have to be done through a third party.
This is Doug Welsh. We checked the cost of it, and I think you have the numbers there, Trish.
Yeah,
But
even there was one company that we had a brief conversation with on the phone, and what we would be using them for if we went that route, it was $1,000 a year. So even if we did use a third party for that live proctoring, the cost is substantially lower.
But that also includes, this is Doug Welsh. That also includes a proctor watching live. That would be one of us. So if we did it, and this is when I called around, there's a lot of companies that actually have their own person that they have a mobile webcam, so they can actually move the webcam. So if we do an ear mold, we can watch them do the ear mold while someone they place the camera right there. You can also screen share through Teams and watch your audiogram and just ask the questions as we normally would. Now, I've been proctoring for a long time, so I see no problem with this. And it saves our industry a lot of money also.
This is Trisha again. And also our office is, fingers crossed, very soon, hopefully, getting a new testing system so that people can test from home that does have kind of that AI capability to see, is there somebody else in the room, somebody else talking? Are they looking down? Stuff like that we could implement for the written portion of the practical, the multiple choice questions and, matching of audiograms and stuff like that. So we have, that part already coming as well.
This is Doug Welsh again. Yeah, I just like to, get the feelers out there and see how you feel, because it's definitely it's a trend, and it's been going on since COVID. And there's doctors doing it, nurses, there's all types of industries where, you get health field, electrical, industrial. So it does have a place. Any thoughts?
This is Chelsea Montgomery again. That's something that I'm open to. I'm curious how the number of proctor hours compare. Are we still paying the proctors to live watch these? Like, how does that compare to the man hours or the hours required for in-person proctoring?
This is Trisha. So when a proctor is scheduled for one of our proctoring days, they're paid a flat amount for that day, regardless of how many hours they are there. What we were possibly thinking is that doing it on a, because yes, of course, we're still going to be paying the proctor to do it, but that portion that would need the live proctoring is such a small amount of time that it's not going to amount to too much, and it's something that can be done, one day, one another day, for a nominal fee.
Tina has her hand
Tina?
up.
Tina,
And
go
the
ahead.
other option, let's not forget, there is another option of doing this, and that is with the trainer trainee, like a handful of out of the 20 boards we already have doing the practicals within the offices. So, and that wouldn't cost us anything.
Exactly, Tina. One thing I think there was a concern was the integrity of that, and that was brought up. But I think if it was recorded with a webcam while they do it, and it was reviewed at a later date, I think that would probably be a good idea. If not, we can proceed with just having the trainer do it. But I would put more requirements on the trainer themselves. So,
and this is Tina, and you could, it could be you could actually just do a training for proctoring the practical, a one-time thing for any of the trainers out there that don't feel that they would be able to do it without training. However, with all of our boards that are currently doing the practicals within the companies, we have had no complaints on electrology, body piercing. Tattoo does it, but they're within a school. And what other board? And electrology, they're using stuff that's penetrates the skin, but we haven't had any complaints. And if we have, Trampus can speak up, but if it wasn't working, we would have stopped it a long time ago.
Tina, this is Doug. Along with calling everybody, I've been doing this off and on for the last 6 years, just calling people, just getting some ideas. And, a lot of people were open to the trainer training them and doing the proctoring at the end. And I don't know if there's any opposition to it, but it's a great idea, and it doesn't save us anything. Spending, we save a heck of a lot of money.
Todd?
Oh, I just wanted to comment and say if it's more convenient and not expensive or anything, obviously it's a good choice. But what's the process for piloting it as opposed to just rolling it out?
I think this is Doug. I believe that we shouldn't just throw it out there. I think we should probably have some training classes, something video where there's mandatory to watch. If anybody else has any ideas.
Well, I think, and Ann can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody can correct me. Um, it'll have to be in rule that we're doing this. And, um, then there'll be opportunities for the community themselves to provide comment. And
It,
probably have to have a rules advisory committee meeting and have people within, talk about it, help us write the rules around it.
uh, the practical is in there and Anne can review it. I don't know that it specifies that it has to be done here.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the process itself might need to be in rule. But I mean, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
This is
But
Anne.
go ahead, Ann.
I'm looking and it says the rule title is Office Administered Practical Examination. And it says before an individual can apply to take it, they must complete the training program and meet the requirements in. Um, and then we have another rule on practical examination retakes. So I've never overseen anything that has gone from something we did. I mean, other than moving the exam like onto workday, which is a much easier transition than taking the exam, the practical and completely changing how we administer it. So I think we're going to have to look at what our rules require. And then, I mean, before we can even write rules around it, we're going to have to come up with the process, right?
Right.
Who's going to do it, how they're going to do it. I mean, and that might take a committee. I'm not sure. But I think that we're going to have to ultimately, the council would have to decide what the goal was. And then we would have to reverse engineer getting there. Like what the steps are there classes, are there technology? We have to also consider that we try to make things, I know people coming to our offices inconvenient, but neither is trying to test out in East Oregon where your internet is sketchy at best, right? So we need to kind of game this out and how it would work in all portions of the state. And I don't think that that's something that we could come up with very quickly. I think we'd have to do it thoughtfully and test each step before we get there. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yep.
So I'm not sure if the first step would be if the council wants to have us look into this, and then it would be something that our experts, Trisha and Derek, and the other folks that are intimately involved with the exam, we'd have to look at what we're doing now and the portability of it, where we want it to go, and how we would get it there. And I don't know if that's something that we could kind of have it mapped out or have an idea of what we think the bottlenecks might be by the fall meeting. That might be something we can kind of hammer out over the summer. And if we get stuck or if we reach, because sometimes that happens, right? You don't know what you're going to smash into until you get there. We could call a board meeting or a council meeting together and say, listen, we got this far and we hit this obstacle. Which way do you want us to go? And we could maybe get a roadmap for the fall meeting. I don't know if Trisha or Derek could speak to that, but that would be my guess as to what we would do next.
This is Doug. I believe we should proceed with, looking at our resources, what we can do. So let's proceed.
Chelsea, Jennifer, how else do you all support us kind of looking into moving the practical out of the office into some other form? We don't know exactly what yet, but to try to make it more cost effective and convenient.
This is Jennifer Alexander. Yes, I think that's a fantastic idea.
This is Chelsea. I agree as well. I think it's worth looking into and pursuing.
Okay. Just for my own clarity, because again, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know how to get there. Um, are we more in favor of doing the sort of fully online with a third party proctor? because I know Tina brought up having the trainers do it, and those are two completely different pathways. And I'd kind of like the council to tell us which one they're favoring so that we don't have to run two complete maps to the same end.
This is Doug.
This is Chelsea.
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Excuse me. I was gonna say I'd lean towards having the trainer do it. I'm skeptical if the proctor company only cost $1,000 a year, what services we'd really be getting for that. I think that it would be worthwhile if it included some kind of cloud service to maintain the files of the videos that could be reviewed later if there were issues. Otherwise, I'm not sure what that would add.
This is Bob, if I may. I think I have a question on the videos. First, the client would have to agree to it, and then there's the storage of said videos and for how long. And what would I mean, I get what the purpose would be if something happens, then we can go back and see how they were trained. But I don't know, something feels weird about that. I
Yeah,
just
and
can't put my finger on it.
this is Tina. You wouldn't be able to see how they were trained, Bob. It would only be the picture of time when they were doing the practical.
I'm not talking about being trained. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. During the practical, sorry. It would be, yeah, so those two questions. The client would have to agree and the storage of the video.
Bob,
Right.
this is Doug. This is Doug.
Yeah.
Going back to what we were talking about first, we don't have to have the proctor company do it. We can actually do it ourselves, and we would keep our proctors, myself and a couple others there, to watch it and just grade it as we go. We have the paperwork with us, mailed to us. We send it back to you and give the yay or nay, and you grade it from there. So you wouldn't have to keep any video. It would just be a bio webcam, see if it works.
Yeah. So I think that sounds different than what I thought the direction was, to have the trainer do the proctoring.
Well, those are two different. Yeah, those are two different
Right.
scenarios. So
No, exactly.
Yeah, let's have the trainer do it, or maybe while the trainer's doing it, maybe someone could watch via webcam.
Okay, this is Anne. I'm going to need to slow you guys down because I think I'm hearing three different options here.
You sure are.
What I've heard is having a proctor that comes with this proctoring company service do it, which Chelsea expressed skepticism of a cheap proctor. Now, then we have the trainer do the practical, which, if they're doing it live, eliminates the issue with internet connection and all that. And now I'm hearing a third option, which is to have somebody proctor it and then have the HLO proctors judge it or something. Can somebody clarify this for me?
Now, this is Doug. So let's eliminate scenario one, the company.
Okay.
So what we're looking at is have them do it, the trainer and the trainee, or have them do the practical at their office while one of us are watching via webcam. Those two scenarios. Is that right, Trish? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Nothing else. It's pretty simple. It's what I do already, except just via webcam. And we have everything out of office.
This is Ann, can we hear from the other council members on these options? I know I heard from Chelsea.
So this is Jennifer. I am kind of deferring to, because I'm the consumer member, so I'm kind of deferring to the experts who do the proctoring and so forth as to which way is best. I do have some concerns though, for people who, that maybe an in-office option may still be available for those who, don't have internet access or maybe just need in-person uh, score testing, whatever. Sorry.
And this is Bob. Jennifer, I have a question for you, if I can put you on the spot lightly. As a consumer, how would you feel about it being done in the office, the trainer and the trainee?
About it, this is Jennifer. About it being in online, you mean?
No, no,
Oh.
just having the trainer do and the trainer proctoring the trainee.
Um, yeah, that does bring up a little bit of concern because if the trainee fails, it's a reflection on the trainer a bit, I think. So I think as a consumer, I would probably feel more comfortable. I'm fine with it online. There are a lot of things that are done online. The LSATs you can do from your home online. I'm fine with that happening. I think though that having an independent proctor I would be more comfortable knowing that somebody who wasn't affiliated with the student was the one giving the test.
Thank you.
Bob, this is Doug.
Yeah.
That was my concern anyway, so you know that. But
Yeah.
we just have to throw it out there. But I think my concerns with the trainer and trainee in office, there could be something going on. Not sure, but integrity wise, I believe that we should do it on the web, but have a independent proctor, us or someone we get just to watch.
Okay.
So I think swaying to that way and keeping it out of the trainer trainee would be a little more feasible.
So if I'm understanding right, it would be the trainer, trainee with the proctor observing.
Exactly, via webcam.
Okay.
This is Anne. If I may, just so I can understand the dynamic. So what Doug described is having one of HLO's approved proctors watch a trainer give a trainee an exam. And that, if that's correct, what would the trainer be doing that the proctor would have to observe?
What we were looking at is the trainer would be there and be the test subject.
Oh, the
Well,
trainer would be the test subject.
exactly, yeah.
I
So
didn't know
mainly the
that.
trainer
I
would.
didn't hear that. That's new
Yeah,
to me.
that's what I said in the beginning. So mainly the trainer would be there, but
Mm-hmm.
that trainer could hold the webcam. We can, I would ask the questions already what we have in our pamphlet, and they would just answer them, and I'd watch, screenshot on their share their screen on the Zoom and just see what they're doing and ask them the questions as we normally would.
Tina?
So I have a question. So these exams could be any day of the week, every single week. Is that what I'm hearing? I mean, that's a lot of time and money. Well, it's a lot of resources. So going to 4 times a year down to possibly every other day or every week, that would need to be looked at as far as money goes.
Valid point.
So what money would we look into? I mean, how much are we looking at?
Well, the proctor would have to be paid for every time they're proctoring. Just like now, we do it 4 times a year. You're paid for all those trainees to come in and do one day 4 times a year at a blanket rate compared to being paid each time, say it's an hour long, having the proctor being paid several times, throughout the year. So, I mean, that's what I'm sitting here thinking, because people only, the reason why we're not doing it all the time is we, quarter it out. So these individuals could be ready any time of any month or any week to test. So Doug, do you have the capability of doing it that many times?
I have certain days off, and I can, squeeze people in, no problem. I mean, I have Fridays off, and then I work part-time. So, I mean, I think Trish, we're looking at possibly $50 per person. We don't know yet, whatever the board says, but we're saving money, I believe, in the long run. But if what do you think, Trish?
This is Trisha. Yeah, I think we just kind of ballparked it and said, even if we were paying a proctor $50 per person, that's only one proctor and only one tester versus having to pay them for a full day. And most of our practicals have gone up to the 2 days each quarter. Whether they're there the whole day or not, they could be sitting around for 2 or 3 hours and they're still getting paid for that time because people cancel, they can't make it for whatever reason. And there's such a small portion of the exam that would be proctored. It's much less than them sitting there for the whole entire process of getting paid to watch them answer multiple choice questions or match the hearing aid to the audiogram, stuff like that. Things that don't need to be proctored. That time that they're paid for is going to be eliminated. That one portion that will be proctored is going to be so minute that it will be saving money in the long run.
I can see that.
See, Trish came up with some numbers, but it does not include any administrative hours at all. And it's just, we're looking at possibly, we're saving $3,000 a year. That's just a ballpark again. So,
okay. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I was just going to say that with scheduling, obviously we're not going to go, okay, this person's ready, they need to be tested tomorrow. So, it could be that the proctors put in, these are the times I'm available for the next month, and then schedule it that way. So everybody has a little bit of space and knowledge of when things are going to be taking place and have the availability to block off whatever they need to. And also, if we still wanted to keep it 4 times a year, we could still do that and just do it online. So the scheduling, I don't see is a big hindrance to this.
This is Chelsea. I agree with that. I feel like if we wanted to expand it, we could even do one day every couple months, but it doesn't have to be free for all scheduling.
Okay. Well, I think the first step would be mapping out the process. And then bringing maybe, later on down the road, bringing it back to the board. And Trish mentioned the new test system that's coming eventually. Yeah, we're in the middle of a RFP on it. We have a vendor, and so we're working out statements of work and some of the other technical things. So hopefully by September we have it.
Yeah, Bob, this is Ann. Our next meeting is in October. And also in other board business, we can't really make any decisions.
Yeah,
Because if
no.
we, this is why we didn't put this on the agenda, was it was my understanding that we really weren't ready to make any decisions on this process.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm not suggesting we make a decision. I'm just
okay.
kind
I
of
just
thinking
wanted to
out.
clarify that we can just maybe look at bringing a map of the process to
Yeah,
the October meeting
yeah,
and see where we go.
yeah. No, I was just kind of updating them on the test system since Trish brought it up, and I'm involved in the procurement, and yeah, we would map it and see where we're at and what it looks like to present to the board if it's done and ready. And I'm not talking about the system. I'm talking about having it mapped out.
Hmm.
So
This is Doug Welsh. Bob,
yeah,
you're gone, aren't you, in August?
September.
September? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you
I'm
would you
hoping
like
I'm
to
hoping to have this all done, the new test system online. I don't know what happens if
would you be
since
willing
I'm
to stay longer?
well, that may not be up to me.
That was a joke, sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right.
So yeah, not once the statement of work is done on this test system, I think it'll move quickly, but we've had some pretty serious hiccups with it thus far, stalling us a month.
Well, if
Anyway,
we this is Doug. If we do have a next meeting, I'll send some information over to you guys with some concerns about, trainer responsibility. We have a form for responsibility for the trainee, but we don't have any information on the trainer, what exactly is required, or, so I'll send that over via email.
okay, yeah, you can send it to Ann.
And I'll send it to Ann. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And once, Doug, I'm not saying Ann would do it, just send it to her so she's the central receiver, and then if it needs to go to Trish and Derek, um, or myself or whomever it needs to go to. But yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank
This
you.
is Dan, and what would that be? I mean, we keep going off on these little branches. What would that be in aid of? What is this trainer information?
Well, we were looking at um, what I want to bring up at the next meeting, but we're looking at direct. There's a confusion, and we've gone through this before. Indirect and direct supervision, and a lot of what is it, and what what the trainer is required to do. What is direct supervision? And there's a lot of places where the trainer is not even in office, or they're somewhere else while a trainee is doing something.
Yeah,
So
that's a whole different topic, right?
exactly. So
Okay.
I just want some type of accountability, or some type of change where they can be held more responsible.
Yeah.
What a clear definition, it's right there in the dictionary, but some people don't understand that. So
This is Chelsea. Doug, do you think that it would be better to propose a change to the rules that describes direct supervision as in the same physical location?
I do, yes. What's going on is I get a lot of individuals saying they were never trained, or the trainer was not there at all while they were training. There was they were somewhere else. They were in another part of the state, and we need to come up with something that actually has some accountability. Make it perfectly clear.
Well, we do have it in rule. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ann.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Again, we need to be careful if we're changing topics. We need to be very clear on what we're doing here instead of just throwing something out. Direct and indirect supervision is in rule. And if you feel somebody has violated that rule, the proper policy is to make a complaint.
That's it.
And it's defined in rule as well.
What I was suggesting was even they don't look up the rules, but when they get a package, like the trainee gets a package, is that in their package? So when they sign for, I'm going to be the trainer for this trainee, does it state saying you have to do direct supervision?
Okay.
I'm sorry for the investigative team.
Well, I think, and we have changed topics considerably.
Yes.
So for other board business, Doug, you can send to Ann and she'll filter it to Trampus.
I'm going to, yes.
What
Thank you very much.
what you're driving at here, so we don't violate any meeting laws or anything.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I thought I saw somebody's hand up. Was it Jennifer or Chelsea?
No, it was mine, Miss
Oh,
Tina.
sorry.
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Tina, did you have something?
I did, but I took my hand down.
Okay. All right. Any other board business?
We still have to pick a May meeting, Bob.
Oh,
I have the calendar up whenever you guys are ready. You said May, Ann?
May.
That's correct. We need a special meeting.
Okay. The first 2 weeks of May are pretty open. I don't know if there's May 8th that we have nothing on the calendar, if you guys like doing Friday meetings.
Yeah, May 8th.
It only needs to be about 15 minutes, so let's not stick it to Friday if we don't need to.
The only day we have something going on the first week of May is on the 4th. So every other day is available, Tuesday to Friday.
How's May 5th for everybody at 9 o'clock, just 15 or 20 minutes?
This is Jennifer. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is Jennifer Alexander. I am at a conference 5, 6, and 7, but I can do, if it's just going to be 15 minutes at 9 a.m., I can do that.
This is Ann. We would just need to roll call in, adopt the agenda, review public comment, and vote permanent. So if everybody's tech is working, it shouldn't be long at all. So we have Jennifer, you said you could make like 15 minutes?
This is Jennifer, correct?
Okay. Okay, so May 5th, I have one. Anybody else?
This is Chelsea. I can make 9 o'clock work, but would it be possible to do 8:45? Just easier with how my work day falls out.
What does everybody think about 8:45?
I'm fine with it. This is Doug.
This is Jennifer. That would probably be better for me as well.
I have Jennifer, Chelsea, and Doug.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who? We haven't heard from Todd. Is Todd with us? Yes.
He shows that he's here. Todd, if you're speaking, you're on mute. Todd, are you with us?
I am, but I was just moving my laptop. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Todd, are you able to make 8:45 a.m. on May 5th for a quick meeting?
I believe so.
Okay, that's fantastic. So looks like 8:45 a.m. on May 5th. we will have a special meeting. Thank you very much.
I will get that added to the calendar.
Okay. Chair, if there is nothing else, I think you can
Yep, let me
adjourn
head
the-
over to my script. All right. The Advisory Council on Hearing Aids meeting is adjourned at 10:13 a.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.